Five, four, three, two, one.
I'm from a place where the girls are always looking pretty. You might have heard of us, we call it Shy City. We build champions here who define gritty. We don't do excuses, we don't do pity. Rose is coming back stronger, that's a guarantee. Cutler's coming back too, he's beastly. Throwing it to Marshall, the title's ours easily. Blackhawks are winning titles, trophy looking massive. Don't forget about the Cubs, Sox, Crosstown Classic. With so much greatness, we gotta show bravado. You got your boys Ambro and Mike Mercado.
Hello and welcome into the Chicago Beat. I am Mike Mercado, as always, with my best friend, the best of the business, secret producer man. It is a rainy and cold May 10th, 2013 here in the city of Chicago, and we got so much to get into, guys. You know how much I love talking to you guys. Please don't forget to find us everywhere in the universe. We're on Twitter if you want to tweet us at the Chicago Beat. Like us on Facebook at the Chicago Beat, and of course, the beautiful, the new and improved, the DaChicagoBeat.yolasite.com. Everything Chicago, fashion, news, entertainment, sports, music, whatever it is, we got it with a youthful and knowledgeable Chicago point of view. That's the DaChicagoBeat.yolasite.com. And what a crazy day it was yesterday. You have the Blackhawks who take out the Minnesota Wild in a 5-game series. They beat them 5-1. You have Marian Hossa with 2 goals, Kruger with the goal. Corey Crawford had a nice game. Crawford's actually had a very nice series in general, and it's very good news for this city right now, because unfortunately, a night before that, on Wednesday, the Chicago Bulls fell to the Miami Heat 115-78. And that's where we're going to start off today. We're going to start off with the Miami Heat and the Chicago Bulls. It's very easy to be upset about what happened in that Bulls game. You know, you lose by over 30 points. You don't have the same amount of energy that you did in Game 1. You almost didn't have that same swagger that you had in Game 1. And I hate using that word, especially in athletics. But you didn't have it. You had LeBron James with over, 15 points in the first quarter? And that you can't have that happen. You can't have that happen. The reason they won Game 1 is they kept LeBron on check in the first half. They didn't let him make any damage. There's a lot that went wrong in this Bulls game. There's a lot that went wrong. There's a lot that you can't. People are sitting here wanting to blame the refs, which is very easy. I think that's the problem that I have with blaming the refs in that kind of occurrence is, you know, going down to Miami, how that crowd is. Okay? You know how, I guess, the NBA favors superstars. You know, you'll hear refs say they don't have time to think about that, but they do. You know, they don't need to have a booklet on every player in the world to know who LeBron James is or Dwayne Wade is. You know, Chris Bosh isn't going to get the same calls as they do, and you see that. Chris Bosh really earns his points, but they've done a good job on keeping him in check. What you can't do is you can't let LeBron James go off. That is easier said than done, but that's just the fact of the situation. That's just it. I mean, right now, LeBron James is averaging 23 points a game. He's averaging 7 rebounds a game. He's averaging 7 assists a game. The guy's a monster. And you knew that going in there. So you can't complain after he goes off on you and that he's getting calls on him. It was the same way with Michael Jordan. So we're going to get into a lot of that about Bulls talk, who's to blame, who's not to blame, and what's going to happen in Game 3. And then, of course, you have the Cubs who lose last night to the Cardinals. And then you have the White Sox who beat the Mets after getting owned on on Wednesday by the Mets. We got more coming up here on the Chicago Beat. Heat and Bulls tonight, 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central on ESPN in the United Center. Don't forget, you can follow the game everywhere on Twitter for the Chicago Beat. If you want to listen to the Chicago Beat Insider, it's a good way to follow the game, the best way to follow the game. And we're going to, as we were talking about before we hit the break, me and Secret Producer Man were talking about it, and we got a tweet here from a Chris saying, let's see, his exact one, I want to make sure he gets the right credit. Chris, 22 Bulls fan, says, should Derrick Rose come back? Now, I didn't want to get into a lot of Derrick Rose conversation, but on Twitter at the Chicago Beat, even on my Twitter at mmercado2333, you've seen the conversation become, should Derrick Rose play? Because you have news reports from the Dan Patrick Show, from ESPN, from Bleacher Report, from all these different sources, Hoops Hype, saying Derrick Rose is going to dress in Game 3. Might come off the bench. That's fine. You know what? This is the last time then I'm going to explain this, or I'm going to get it out to the public, because this is no longer about Derrick Rose. This is about the team, and this is about the future. If Derrick Rose comes back to play with the Bulls, it's not to win a championship this year. It's not to get him over the Heat. It's to get him ready for the next season. It's to see how your investment pays out for next season. That's the plan with Derrick Rose if he does play in this series. Because he's not going to... If you would have told me he's coming back Game 4 against the Brooklyn Nets in case there's a possibility that they make it to the second round, it's a little bit different. You've been in the playoffs. You've ran up and down the court. You felt the physical nature of the beast, especially the way he plays, where he's with reckless abandonment. That wasn't the case, though. You're asking Derrick Rose at 24 after a torn ACL, even though it's been over a year since the surgery. It's been a year at least since the surgery, to go out there and play against the defending champions. Now, I think he could do it. I don't see why he wouldn't be able to. The guy's a freak of nature athlete. But the point is being missed in all this then. He's not coming back to help the Chicago Bulls win. Because the only reason the Chicago Bulls team is winning is for the simple fact that they have great chemistry. They're on a roll. They know how to play with each other. They're playing for each other. They're playing against the world. You bring back Derrick Rose, you lose a lot of that. You lose a lot of random guys stepping up to make big shots. You miss a Marco Bellinelli, a Jimmy Butler, who have to step up. Derrick Rose comes back, and the first thing that happens is people give him the ball and move away. It's not the same Derrick Rose. It's not. And it's wishful thinking if we believe he's going to be that way. That's just not going to happen. And then I get tweets from girls like here by Caitlin. I'm not even going to give her a Twitter account that says, Derrick Rose is weak-minded, does not deserve to wear a Bulls jersey. Michael Jordan would be ashamed. It's fair to say people are disappointed in Derrick. You know, the Bulls could have avoided all this just by simply saying he's not playing this season. You do this in early March, and if for some reason he does come back, awesome. It exceeded expectations. But you didn't do that. BJ and Reggie Rose haven't helped him out. They haven't done him any favors. And we have Reggie Rose saying that the Bulls upper management hasn't put enough around Derrick. And then you see them go 7 games against Brooklyn, and then you see them take game 1 in Miami. It makes Derrick look bad, as if he's saying that, because he hasn't stepped up and said anything but himself. You've heard the same cliche stuff. I could play the clips for you guys right now. I'm going to wait for God. I really don't know. It's up in the air. Anything can happen. To me, all that's just a long, progressive no. But why have they not said anything? He's not a disgrace. It's his body. He's a 24-year-old man. He's only a year older than me. I couldn't imagine going through all that. And we're expecting him to find all the right decisions. That's why he has all these people around him, to make the right decisions, to help him, advise him, and they haven't. The Bulls organization hasn't done him any favors. So when people say Michael Jordan would be ashamed, don't forget Michael Jordan and the Bulls always had a rocky relationship to begin with. Him and Jerry Krause, they always had. From the broken foot to the very last championship. Superstars have issues with upper management always, because it's two industries at that point. It's Derrick Rose Inc. and Bulls Inc. You have a lot of people on the Derrick side, you have a lot of people on the Bulls side. And what happens is we've just spent the last 10 minutes talking about Derrick Rose, opposed to this team who has put out a second-year player in Jimmy Butler, playing 48 minutes a game. You have a 5'9" point guard with stitches in his mouth, throwing up on the court. Joakim Noah with plantar fasciitis, coming back up, feeling healthy, an all-star. Luol Deng with meningitis, or being tested for meningitis, in the hospital losing 15 pounds, and his team is still finding ways to win. Nobody's going to say they're going to take the series versus Miami. Nobody is. But you have to enjoy it. They're not the Blackhawks. They're not the best team in the NBA. They may be the best coach team. They may be the best cohesive team. But they're not the best team. They're not going to go out there and they're not going to win. And then when you're playing the way they did in Game 2, when you're turning the ball over, that's where the problem comes in. And, you know, I hear it on Facebook. I see it when people post on the Chicago Beat. I mean, I have one right here saying the Bulls could win the NBA title if they play a perfect game. Problem is, though, is if Miami plays a perfect game, you're not beating them. If you have more than 8-9 turnovers in the game, you're not beating Miami, because those are guaranteed points. So enjoy the ride when it comes to the Chicago Bulls, because this doesn't happen all the time. You don't see teams like the Chicago Bulls rise to the occasion and win these type of games. It doesn't happen. I think the Bulls are going to steal maybe 1 or 2 more games in the series. And I am praying to God I am wrong in all this, and the Bulls find a way to get to the Eastern Conference Finals and eliminate the hated Miami Heat. I'm just saying whatever happens at this point, I'm done talking about Derrick. I'm done worrying about Derrick. I'm appreciating and enjoying the fact that this Bulls team has given everything they have for us, the fans, and for themselves, and have represented them greatly. Unlike you see Miami fans do with that lady who's flicking off Joakim Noah. I mean, how disgusting and irritating was that? I guess that's Miami for you, huh? We got more coming up here on the Chicago Beat. With summer right around the corner, now is the time to make a change in your life. Visit beonair.com or dial 630-916-1700 and contact the Illinois Center for Broadcasting. Guys, I know if you're listening to the show, you love sports. I know if you guys watch E! Or VH1, you love music and entertainment. The Illinois Center for Broadcasting is the road to get you to that spot. With internships and teachers in the industry today, we have 2 beautiful campus locations. We have one in downtown Chicago and one in Lombard. In just 12 short months, you will learn what it takes to be in television or in radio. So visit beonair.com or dial 630-916-1700. That's the Illinois Center for Broadcasting, where broadcasting careers begin. So the Blackhawks now are waiting for either San Jose or Detroit. And I love the fact that we might be able to take Detroit out of the playoffs. We got to give Detroit a lot of credit for hanging in with Anaheim. And that's a hell of a series that's been. And you have San Jose, who, to me personally, is a very scary matchup. You have Thornton, their bigger team. Antoniemi has been a hell of a goaltender for them over the last 2 years. And they match up well with the Blackhawks. And then they go out and sweep the hated Vancouver Canucks. Both teams match up well against the Chicago Blackhawks when you talk about Vancouver and San Jose. But Detroit, this is what scares me about Detroit. It's just that unknown factor. Especially in hockey, where anything can happen. If there's a team out there that worries you, to me it's like a Detroit. Detroit to me is the equivalent of because let's be fair, the Blackhawks are a less hated Miami Heat of the NHL. Maybe some of it's because the NHL isn't as popular as the NBA, but they are the best team. They have so many superstars. They are champions, so you have to assume that they have a lot of hatred towards them. It'll be different one way though if you see them play against Detroit. They will be the fans' choice to win. Because Detroit is a dynasty. They've won many championships. So you have the United States, you have basically the world on your side trying to go against the Detroit Red Wings, try to take them out, send them to the Eastern Conference, and there's a great storyline between there. Then you go play against San Jose, though now all of a sudden they're the Bulls now. San Jose Sharks are the Bulls. They're trying to take out the big bad Blackhawks. They're trying to be the little team that could. The physical team with a good goaltender who's putting it all together. And that's what scares me about this Blackhawks team, is what happens when they get tested? We saw them get tested in the regular season after the point streak when they lost 2 straight games. We saw them get tested. This is the Stanley Cup playoffs, though. And you've seen Marian Hossa wake up. But Jonathan Toews hasn't had the greatest series. Patrick Kane hasn't had the greatest series. You haven't, Frolik has had a nice game. Kruger's had a nice series. There's been a lot of, Corey Crawford's probably had the best series. A lot of Blackhawks are stepping up, but it hasn't felt like a playoff series. We know it is because it says right there on the ice, okay, the Stanley Cup playoffs. But has it felt like a physical, wow, we're in the Stanley Cup playoffs? They have not played perfectly, but they're pretty damn close to it. So what happens when they finally get that test? What's going to happen? Who's going to step up? Who's going to be the one that leads them over? Because you still haven't had Bolin. And again, he's that type of guy you're going to need in the San Jose series where he's going to set the tempo of physicality. He's going to go after the biggest guy and make sure that the message has been sent. And in hockey, a lot of it is message. A lot of it is perception. You could take home ice out of the equivalent. That really doesn't mean anything. A hot goaltender and physical play is going to get you behind the boards and on the corners. So it makes you think, at least in my opinion, where the Blackhawks are going to go on all this. And again, you see it on the tweet or Facebook page. I mean, even right here from D-Mac, the Blackhawks are the best team in the NHL. His exact words, at the Chicago Beat, how can you not be 100% sure the Blackhawks are going to win the Stanley Cup? Because there's no 100%. It's an exact science. Yeah, they may have the best team in paper, so they did last year too. This is the same team as last year. Now, they're more in depth, and the third and fourth line have stepped up just like they did in 2010. But I'm not going to sit here and say they're going to win the Stanley Cup. I like the Chicago Blackhawks. I'm a fan of the Chicago Blackhawks. I'm a Chicagoan. I like hockey. I think they're an awesome team. They're easy to root for. There's a lot of superstars in this team. But it's no guarantee that that's going to win you a championship. There's no guarantee. Like I said, you could play Detroit, and funnier things have happened, and you could lose to your rival. They go out to the East Coast after they get out of the playoffs, and you're left only with a second-round exit. And the biggest question I have now is, what is the expectation for the Blackhawks? I'm going through Facebook and Twitter right now at the Chicago Beat on Facebook, and you can like us on Facebook, and you can follow us on Twitter at the Chicago Beat, and a lot of it is Stanley Cup or bust, and that's a lot of pressure. Let me just put it to you this way. If you're not a hockey fan, if you listen to the Chicago Beat for baseball or for basketball or football, imagine if the Bears had a 13-3 record. That's the expectations the Blackhawks have right now. You see the Bears with a 13-3 record, they're the best team in the NFC, a 14-12 record. You're expecting them to go to the Super Bowl. Now, how hard is it to go to the Super Bowl? Think about that for a second. How tough is it to win a Super Bowl in the National Football League? Now, it's even tougher to win a Stanley Cup, and we have those expectations for the Blackhawks. That's what worries me. And you're going to need guys like a Patrick Kane, a Sharp, a Taze, a Hossa to continue on. And then you're going to need the guys behind them, like the Froleaks and the Krugers, to do stuff like that. To score goals, to make hits, to block shots. You're going to need all that. And I think they could do it. I think if there's any team in the National Hockey League that could steamroll their way to the Stanley Cup Finals, is this Blackhawks team. But I just want to, again, kind of like the Bulls, enjoy the ride. It may, for all we know, it may end so quickly. The memory. So God forbid Corey Crawford gets hurt. What do you do then? Are you still the favorite to win a Stanley Cup? Sure, you can outskate anybody. The Blackhawks can outskate anybody in the league. It all comes down to goaltending and health. Right now, they've been blessed with it. They've been blessed with it all season for the most part. But the expectations are so high, it's crazy. But fortunately for the Blackhawks, they do have a few days off as San Jose or Detroit as they wait as one of those two teams finishes their series. Should be good. The Blackhawks needed this rest. Hell, Chicago sports fans needed this rest after the crazy, stressful week we've had of Chicago playoff games here in Chicago. We wrap up shop next here on the Chicago Beat. Oh, I'll tell you, fun times here at the Chicago Beat. You have Secret Producer Man trying to get coffee for me, and as I'm getting ready to make the break to come back into you guys, and he spills it all over the board, and thank God it's the end of the show, because it must be Friday, huh? It must be Friday, and now that, I hope you guys all enjoy your weekend. Thank you so much for listening to the Chicago Beat. You can find us everywhere in the universe. Like us on Facebook at the Chicago Beat. Follow us on Twitter at the Chicago Beat. And of course, visit DaChicagoBeat.yolasite.com. It is the best website, guys, for everything Chicago twist, music, fashion, entertainment, sports. It doesn't matter. DaChicagoBeat.yolasite.com. Your Chicago Beat rundown for this coming up Friday. You have the Chicago Cubs facing the Washington Nationals, 13-21 versus 19-5. Washington, who was supposed to be this World Series favorite, the world beaters, the young guns, not so much right now. But again, with the Cubs, that might, cure some ailments. You have the White Sox and the Angels. How about the Angels at 12-22, huh? I guess all that money really doesn't win you a World Series, huh, guys? Hopefully the White Sox could pick it back up and get something going. And of course, what everybody's waiting for, Game 3, Bulls-Miami, 7 o'clock. Is Derrick Rose going to play? Is Derrick Rose going to dress? Is he going to be in a suit? Can the Bulls respond and take a 2-1 lead? Can they protect home court? Can they continue to shock the world? We want to know from you guys, so please, I can't wait to hear all your tweets, all your Facebook statuses. I can't wait. And before we get out of here, I just want to say Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, single, married, old, young, doesn't matter. You guys do an invaluable job. To my mother, Rosa, my grandmother, my aunts, I love each and every one of you guys. Please have a wonderful Mother's Day. For Secret Producer Man, I'm Mike Mercado. Enjoy your weekend. Happy Mother's Day, everybody. I will see you on Monday. Have a good one, guys.